I've just attended a certain program.
Yeah.
And I would not say what the program was,
Sure.
only to find out this was an aspiring filmmakers program. But you find a person that's working from the government department or that's working for Sibisi being on class.
Yeah.
And you're thinking, why would you take an opportunity that belongs to or that could actually made an impact, you know? So it's there. And we just live with it.
Dumelang bagaetsho. Welcome to another installment of the Film Biz Show. It's the only podcast where we talk about the business of film, both locally and internationally. My name is Marcus Mabusela. Today we have an amazing conversation ahead of us. We're moving over to the more educational and development element of filmmaking. We have the founder of Face of Earth Foundation NPO, where she provides strategic and visionary leadership to the organization. She's been part of the business development program as well as the film and TV production skills development program. She runs the Amajuba Film Festival and is part of the community development and art programs development within the industry. Please give a warm welcome to Samukelisiwe, Sibisi. Welcome.
Thank you.
It's so good to have you here.
Yes.
It's so good to have you here. How are you doing in this spring Johannesburg evening?
No, I'm good, thank you. And thank you for inviting me. Thank you for having me in the show.
No, definitely. We've been looking forward to having you for a few weeks now. In fact, myself and my business partner were talking, I think a conversation started 2-3 months ago where we were talking about your film festival and the amazing things that you're doing down in KZN. Please, just if you can just let us know just a bit about the Amajuba Festival before we start, just to get a sense of what do you guys do?
Okay, Amajuba Film Festival was the platform that was mainly created for aspiring and emerging filmmakers to connect, to collaborate, and to actually get into the space. So what we do, we basically bring people that has experience within the industry to come to Amajuba. As you know, we are based in KZN, and most people, when they talk about KZN, they talk about Durban.
Can I just say, for me, Durban is KZN. It's just another name. And there's no other place. I hear Newcastle, I hear...
No.
Okay, so where is Amajuba? What is Amajuba?
Amajuba is a district. It's one of the districts within the KZN. We have about 11 districts.
Okay.
So Amajuba is one of the districts, and basically we are based in KZN as well. But now, Amajuba Film Festival, the main aim is actually to showcase, because we have a beautiful place. We want to showcase our town. We want filmmakers to know about our towns. We have mines. We have beautiful landscapes. So we want people to know about Amajuba so they can bring in money, come do their production in our area.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, so basically, yeah.
Okay, so the festival, so besides developing the young talent that's in the space, you also want to attract investors, attract filmmakers, so it can be a film. Okay, that's
a film destination.
Film destination. Yeah. Well done. That's really, a huge feat that you've kind of taken on. When someone sees a woman of your stature, someone who's achieved so much and who's created, livelihoods for so many people from where you come from, I'm sure people are wondering, how did she grow up? Where does she come from? Can you just give us a brief brief description, or just a, an idea of how was your upbringing?
Well, I grew up in a very small village.
Yeah.
I think made out of about 50 houses. We are very far from everyone else. It was just in my bringing up, being away from everything. All you knew was what's existing in your space.
Yeah.
And you would walk distance to school and you would get to engage with other people away from your environment. But your normality was just the spape.
Okay. How far was your school from where you guys were based?
I can't believe even now that we used to walk that long. But it's, I would say, about 10 kilometers. And we used to walk and it was normal. It was normal. Yes. So having been growing up in such space, there's a lot of decisions. If I grew up from different places, I would have made different decisions. So you get to know about things only when you finish your matric and you start to connect now to the world. So for me, it was every time I come across opportunities, I have to share. Because now it takes 5% of the people that grow in my village to actually break out of the environment. So Amajuba Film Festival, it's more about also that platform where we bring this information to people within our space for them to connect and grow from it.
That's phenomenal. So you're saying, I mean, the fact that you grew up in the kind of environment that you did, where there was no opportunity or very little, you guys were far from opportunities. It's what? It's sort of like kind of planted a seed in your heart to say, through this initiative, this is how I'm going to at least let children who come from the kind of background I come from be exposed to such things.
Absolutely.
That's phenomenal, Samu. And how's like the response been with the young people in KZN who are exposed? But firstly, before I ask that, who does this festival target? Who are the normal attendees of Amajuba Festival? And how's the response been?
So, well, the journey started from the skills development.
Yeah.
We did a lot of workshops sponsored by NAVF. And through these training programs, you train people this year, they go home. You train the next batch, they go home also. And you start realizing that you do not have the exit strategy for the work that you are doing. So we needed a platform to say, once we train or we give skills to people, they now need to connect to a bigger vision or to a bigger picture. So the festival was mainly about, it was a step back in saying, yes, we are trying to bring skills, we are trying to grow the industry, giving the skills to the people, but where do they go from here? So we had to go back and then create the platform. And we do other programs like business development within the organization, but this stood out. And looking at, as a person that I'm an art administrator, as a person that would conceptualize and come up with ideas, I usually look for opportunities where that doesn't rely on people looking for jobs.
Yeah.
So what attracted me within the TV space, it's you can freelance.
Yeah.
As soon as you get your skills, you can start your own thing. You can start, whether you are a camera person, whether you are editing, you can start instantly making money from photography. So that's what attracted me. But getting into the space as well, I then realized that I remember we once had an office at Sasani Studios.
Yeah.
And mostly the people on the ground was people of our color.
Yes, true.
And I kind of like wondered, why is it like that? It's like with our university. Most people that you get there, it's people of our color.
Yeah.
So for me, it was a question, and I needed to do research. Where is the money in this industry? What is actually the business within the space?
Yeah.
And looking at people that does executive producing,
Yes.
like sourcing, that brings the money to actually make the content, the distribution aspect of it. I saw that not a lot of our people are in that space, but they are more excited about the craft. They are more looking at, how do I take this shot and all. But for me, it was more about the business.
That's phenomenal. That's really great. And I think that's why there's such a good alignment with you, what you do, and the intention of this very show. What we've been trying to figure out as well, because there's a whole lie out there that says there's no money in this business. There's no money in this industry. And if people knew how much money there is in this space, I think a lot of people would be choking on their tongues. But then there is a disconnect between the creative and the suits, where you get an administrator who has no creative impetus or intuition or kind of, they're just not for that space, and they make creative decisions on behalf of the creative. And hence you find, the vast amount of genius minds that we have that are living, a lot of them are in desperation, depression, So how does this program kind of uplift, some of these creatives and I've found myself in that space where you feel like the world is happening around you and there's nowhere you can fit in. Because everywhere it's full. There's someone who looks like you. There's someone who can think of the kind of idea you're thinking of. So that scares you to say, how do I start on my own? How do you guys kind of work the mindset of these young creatives?
Well, with our workshops, we target a subject that speaks to the relevancy of, like, we have a workshop that speaks about the business of film. So as part of the workshops that because our film festival is made of workshops, we have the panel discussions, then we have the films screenings as well. But within the workshops that we actually choose, we try and bring people that will speak about the business aspect of the film industry. So where actually the money is.
Okay.
So that people understand that as much as you are a creative, as much as you are a camera person, as much as you are crazy and in love with your craft, you still need to pay the bills.
Yeah.
And it's very important that you find that you use your creativity to also align into the business space. Because,
so basically just balance it out.
Yes.
But I mean, the argument would be now, okay, not everyone can be an arts administrator like you. And the process sometimes of applying for funding at these institutions, I've gone through those processes, and it needs a particular skill and a particular mind to get through to them. How do you balance that, or do you give them that skills development to teach them the administrative side of it?
Yes, we do also do a new venture creation as a subject.
Fantastic.
So which actually speaks about the business. You need to understand when you are to deal with government, there are compliances and there are laws that basically say before you can trade, these are things that you need to align with. You need to have your company have certain documentation before you can actually trade in the space. So those are, and as part of the exhibitions that we do invite agencies of government that has a mandate to assist our people in actually growing their businesses. I'm speaking about NYDA, we speak about CEDA. Those are people that actually has a budget to actually, if you want to do marketing and promo for your business, so you look right, there are such funds available for us to use. So what we try and bring, we have a day which we use it as a product offering day. So KZN Film Commission come and speak about their products, about their bursaries, about the funding that they have. NFVF come and speak also about the product offering that they have as well. So yeah, basically that's how we actually try to bring information. And we are very careful in bringing the relevant stakeholders on board to come speak about what they are actually meant to do. We get FPB to come and speak about film classification, so that as an upcoming filmmaker, you need to understand what are the processes for your film to before you get your work get licensed. We're looking for more actually stakeholders that would come, because when people like SABC or companies like SABC, when they do programs, their road shows, they go to Durban, they go to Cape Town, they go to Joburg, they don't reach us. And we are trying in this platform to actually invite them so they can come and actually share information with our audience.
Yeah, I think that's a wonderful thing, because, one of the biggest problems we're finding is we are unable to decentralize this industry, apart from the two obviously mega centers being Johannesburg and Cape Town. And Durban, there's a lot of, work going on there. But What about the other outskirts? What about the other places in the country? And this is what people have been crying about. You know, there's Limpopo, there's
Yes.
Polokwane, there's the Northern Cape, there's places like
Eastern
Amajuba,
Cape.
Eastern Cape, and they're doing phenomenal work with the Eastern Cape Film Fund. I think what you guys are doing is very, very commendable. And now, having been a festival that's been running for, 3 years now, and you've
Going for the
well,
third
that's
year.
amazing. Congratulations. You've passed the terrible twos. Well done.
Thank
And, you know,
you.
you've really gone through the mill. But what have you identified as one of our biggest weaknesses as an industry? Where do you think we lack the most? And within this area, if it is properly invested in, what do you think that the best outcomes might be for our sector?
I would say the lacking skills, it's basically what we just spoke about, the administration.
Yeah.
Because it's very important and crucial to get your business going. So as a filmmaker, as a creative, invest in a resource that can align your books, that can align your administration, because that's where you would actually, your business rely on. Yes. And also, as a person with the background from the IT, there's a lack of technology.
Sam, I'm so sorry. I have to ask. You just mentioned something that was. So you have a background in IT?
Yes, I have
Just,
a background
can
in
you tell us
IT.
briefly about your I also have a background in IT.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I know how corporate IT can be very tedious, but once you transfer it to this creative space,
Yes.
your mind is just constantly thinking outside of the box. So tell me, what did you do in IT? How was your brief history, and how do you want to relate it to this space that we're in?
My background in IT, I was more into service management.
Okay.
And more into process development, more into business analysis, where you would actually engage with your business, where if you wish to build a certain systems, you would take the requirements from the person that does not understand the technologies and all, and convert it into an understandable requirements for a technical. So you become the middle person between the business and the technical people. So what makes me find this space interesting and easy, it's because of the background. I'm a process person. I would get into construction and just move. Remember, information technology is an enabler.
Yes, ma'am.
So for each business,
it's needed.
technology
it's needed.
So once you master the skills or the arts within the technology space, everything gets easy.
So, I mean, with your history in IT, how do you envision, that sector kind of collaborating and coming together with this space that we're in?
I would say IT is an enabler for any other business. You can see also our government is now moving to the digital space. Everything is digitizing. So if you're not investing in skills that will allow you to have the right skills to respond to the opportunities, And I always say this: if our grandmothers learned how to use WhatsApp, what are we waiting for?
That's true.
Yeah, because it's there and it's not going anywhere. So we need to invest our time and energy to learn the skill.
But I mean, answering your question, what we're waiting for, there's currently a huge strike that's happening now in the United States, where writers and actors are striking against, obviously, the big streamers and the big studios, against the implementation of artificial intelligence in terms of, replicating the images of, we call them background actors and so on and so forth. And also, removing the great work in which the writers are doing and putting artificial intelligence. So I think sometimes artists do have a foot to stand on by being afraid of engaging with technology. How are you kind of breaking down that barrier? And do you foresee us actually overcoming this current huge problem that's there? I mean, just because we're not seeing it in our faces, what's happening in LA, doesn't mean it's not affecting us. I was looking on online, and there was one Tishina Arnold, who was an actress who was acting in Martin, old comedy. They were in the streets, striking. And it reminded me of what was happening with Generations a few years ago, where actors down-tooled and they say no. So we're in the same thing. But how do you think our creatives can use tech as you're saying, an enabler, and as not so much as a replacement of these services?
Okay, so what I can say, hence I'm saying that they need to invest their time.
Yeah.
Like you can see how we've shifted from your normal TV to the streamings, platforms, the digital. So that's just where we're going. It's like internet in the old days. We never had, but now the access that we have, it makes the research easy.
So true.
Information from it's just there, so it's a matter of actually learn to shift our mindset and just move with the flow and easily adapt, because those that jumped into the internet opportunities early, they are very rich right now. They are very far as well.
That's true.
So we need to take these opportunities as they come, and we just jump and we see. And talking about that, talking about Amajuba, you like I'm a visionary,
yes, ma'am.
And how I see it unfolding, I see us launching a production house, a big production house in Newcastle, which is in our area. And I'm looking at opportunities of digitizing the content that we would be making there, video on demand, and getting people to subscribe. And start consuming content. We're not looking at going the old ways, traditional ways of go commission and license. We're looking at monetizing our own content because people are actually, they're here. They're on TikTok, and whose content that are they consuming there?
Yeah, that's true. And I've seen this content. It's highly relevant content that you don't see in mainstream media.
Exactly.
Guys putting together a story in the hills of Newcastle or Derby. I've seen that stuff. Obviously, because I'm not. I don't really understand everything they say, but I just love how raw and truthful, some of these stories are, and very comedic. So, but tell me, how are you guys kind of monetizing? How does it actually work? How does that model of VOD work in that space? How would it work? Does a person pay directly to the service, to the owner of the content, or how would it work?
Okay. Well, I would say that at this point in time, how am I looking at it? I'm a very solution-driven person.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm looking at it from our agencies that actually has a mandate that gives us these fundings to make films. And once we have these films made, if they don't make it into the normal platforms where I'm taking my content to A, B, and C, then they have that mandate to actually make this available, because you're not going to find films to go sit on shelves. So that's my drive, and that's my direction in terms of actually getting them to get us our own platform. But basically, hence I'm saying also the idea is triggered by the IT background, because I understand how the streaming solutions work, how easily you can develop an application that you can do integration between your streaming platform and also your technology. Then in terms of monetizing, it's easy, like how you buy your airtime. You go star 120 and stuff. So it's a USSD. It's another platform that can be plugged in. You can buy airtime and convert it to a subscription kind of. So that's the model I'm actually looking into in terms of subscribing. And also you make it as a video on demand. I want to watch this specific content. It lasts for an hour. If it costs you 7 rand to watch a film, so imagine how many 7 rands filmmakers can get from 10 million, or how many people are there. So the aim is not to actually look far, but it's basically look at the 1 rand if you were to get million subscribers, you see the numbers people are going with on TikTok. So if each person were paying R1 to watch that specific content, so do you think our filmmakers would then be starving?
No way. No.
You understand? So that's basically why I'm saying we shouldn't be shy away from using technology or understanding and doing more research in terms of how are we pushing our content out there. As part of the festival as well, we are doing an audience development. It is an audience development a program, because basically as we make these films, our people in our areas, they need to be aware. It's awareness. We need to create that culture of we are consuming the local content. So that's just basically it.
That is just so phenomenal. How we are using technology to disrupt the model and put the power in the hands of the creatives.
Absolutely.
You are creating a platform in which people have control. And that is very, very commendable. Those are the kind of disruptive, initiatives that we need in our community as filmmakers. It really is exciting indeed. But I guess my follow-up question to that is, with all these different, we're in a time of change. You can feel it in the atmosphere. There's so much change, there's so much anxiety and excitement at the same time. What is it about the South African film and television industry that excites you right now? What do you find kind of exciting, being the person that you are in your position?
Well, what is more exciting, like I said previously, it's the industry. It has that element of job creation. Yeah. And looking at the unemployment, so we have an opportunity to actually make something out of or from the industry. Yeah. So that is very exciting. There's easy access to starting a business within the space as well. Like there's a lot. And the challenge here is we are not responding to the opportunities put on our table. I know most creatives, they will say, hey, what are you saying? But I have done my assessment. I have monitored how the behavior, we have this entitlement.
Yeah, we do.
And that kills us, because clearly it took me 2-3 years in understanding how these funding models work. Yeah. And in these 3 years, it was trial and error. I would put my application and they will reject it. I'll go back and ask, what did I do wrong? And I'll fix the wrong that I said I did. I'll put my application again. Remember, they have about 2 or 3 cycles each year. So what I did not achieve in the first year, I fixed for the following year until I felt fluent myself. So it is a process.
It is.
It is a process, and we need to go through the process in understanding. I understand they are all, but in my experience and with no connections and, networking or certain people that in certain places, it is doable. But you need to present your work properly.
It's so funny when you talk about connections. I wanted to ask you about, the element of nepotism that we have in this industry is quite a lot. And, how you feel about that. Do you feel like, do you struggle with the same thing in the skills development space, or at least there you find people who are raw and, who are just looking for true development? Or do you find some elements of that?
Well, in the space, you find we cannot run away from nepotism. Yeah. And I've just attended a certain program. Yeah. And I would not say what the program was. Sure. Only to find out this was an aspiring filmmakers program. But you find a person that's working from the government department or that's working for Sibisi being on class. Yeah. And you're thinking, why would you take an opportunity that belongs to or that could actually made an impact, So it's there. And we just live with that.
I guess it's that element of entitlement, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's true. We want the cake and to eat it. We have the whole cake and we want to eat it.
Just to ourselves, and we choke.
We choke. We
From
choke.
it,
You know,
actually,
it's
yes.
very sad. It's very sad. Well, now we're moving to the next segment of our show, and it's called Fill in the Blanks. We're going to say a sentence, and you are going to fill in the blanks.
Okay.
You ready?
I am.
Fantastic. I love film and television because
It is exciting. It is relaxing. And yeah, you get to unwind.
love it. The best film location in South Africa is.
Cape Town.
Oh wow! I thought you would have said Amajuba and rep your hood, but fine, we'll go with Cape Town.
It's Cape Town,
Sure.
basically because of the landscapes.
Okay, cool.
Well, yeah,
And how's Amajuba?
guys.
It's the second best. Don't worry. Okay. Okay. You cannot make a movie without.
A script.
True. Oh, I've seen some unscripted movies, but they still do. They still have some kind of guidelines.
Without a story.
Yeah. Oh, there's a. I know you know how to answer this one as a woman. Money doesn't buy happiness, but it buys.
Wow. Everything you want.
Including happiness. Last one. People who put sugar in amasi are. As a KZN girl, I'm sure you know this.
I don't put sugar in my masi, so yeah.
So
I'll
what do you
say-
think about people who put sugar in their amasi?
Huh. What do you I know, man.
Okay, we'll move on. I was going to answer, but I think, I would
Please
offend
do.
some people. We're not about exclusion. Okay, so the next one is just a question, and just two questions that we'd like to just ask you to get a sense of your where you stand in terms of our industry and our business. My dream arts program focuses on.
Well, my Dream Arts program focuses on video on demand, and there's another special program, which is, yes,
All about the
ching-ching.
money.
But also inclusivity. So we have recently been sponsored to do audio described film screenings. In this program, we will be visiting your Society for the Blind. We'll be visiting the homes,
Yeah.
and we'll be just taking content that is basically include them in the film industry. We are partnering with organizations that are actually dealing with disability. And with those organizations, we are taking workshops there. We actually would like to see a film that is 90% of people living with disability.
That's phenomenal. You really you have a vision to affect lives in a positive way. We need more people like you.
Thank you.
I wish we could just take you and create a clone and another clone. Maybe South Africa would be exactly what we envisioned it to be. So now we are moving to the next part of our segment. Here's a question. What is your all-time favorite South African film and why?
Kwakhalanyoni.
Makhalanyoni. Yay. What a classic.
I'm old school like
Ah,
that.
man, what a classic. What do you think happened? What do you think? How come we're not telling stories like that, man? Just raw and pure,
Authentic.
Authentic, that resonates on the ground, man. That was amazing stuff. Oh, here's another one. If you had an unlimited budget
Oh.
for Amajuba Film Festival, in 2 sentences, what would your festival look like?
I believe the money would not really go into how the festival looks like, but the money would definitely goes into the impact.
Yeah.
There will be more jobs that will get created.
Yeah.
We would actually, as we host the festival, the product that will come there can be a feature film, as part of this training program, so the money would really goes into ensuring that something comes out of the festival, something that we can monetize on so that we get to do more money.
Talking about that, have you had alumni who've, come out of your program, who've gone on to produce work or put work, even if it's on certain platforms? What kind of stories do you have in relation to that?
We do have, I guess one of there's Samukelisiwe. He always would. Actually, he's one of the guys that would inspire you because he said to me the other day, Sisam, I believe you're going to be the next. I don't want to say the names, but
it's okay. You're safe. When they sue you, we won't be there. But you're safe.
But he said you'll be the next. The producer of Uzalo.
Oh yes, yeah.
In Amajuba.
Yeah.
And for me, it was like, that's big.
That's massive.
But now, as I move with the program, as the program is maturing, actually now that is a goal, and I'm working on that. But when he said it, I felt so we have lots of youngsters that are actually working with Tulani Mbata. He has also produced over 20 films within Amajuba district.
Phenomenal.
And our students are basically working in his production.
It's just phenomenal.
So there's a lot of groundwork that is getting done. So we need to just take it to another level.
You are just bringing so much change into the space, in a space where we need people like you. I'm pretty sure there's a special place for you in heaven with all the great work that you do.
Not yet.
Not yet, ne? Okay, cool. But I can tell you one thing: you are just really, really. They say some people are angels in human cloak, and you really are that. The change in which you're doing and bringing into people's lives, young people need an inspiration. They need mentors, and you decided to roll up your sleeves and put yourself right in the pits of the fire. So we thank you for that. Thank you so much. We've come to the end of our interview. What an exciting and enlightening conversation we've had. We've learned so much about the skills development space, and we hope as a Film Biz show we can foster a relationship with the Amajuba Festival to bring in some of our guests who can be there and inspire these young children. Because we literally bring the best of the best on the show, and that's why we brought you here. And it will be just a wonderful opportunity to collaborate and see these young faces and try and impart a part of our journey into theirs. Thank you so much. We often look towards the directors and the producers, but to be honest with you, we can never forget the people who are putting feet on the ground to development. So it is with this word I want to say, we salute you and we thank you.
Thank you so much for the opportunity.
We'd like to say thank you to Fortunewell, Dynamic Workspaces, and the Magic Lightbox for sponsoring this episode. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe to this channel.